Good morning and welcome to all the speakers and attendees who have joined us for the webinar today. We request all the attendees to introduce themselves with your name, designation, and company name in the chat box. We will be happy to know you. It's time to redefine the automotive industry with trending innovations. Automotive Engineering Show, the leading trade fair for technologies in automotive manufacturing, has teamed up with experts from 3D printing industry and brings to you an exclusive webinar on 3D printing to redefine efficiency, effectiveness, and productivity for automotive industry. Today, we have with us Mr. Nishant Shah, Director, Imaginarium India Private Limited, Mr. Ganesh Babu, National Manager, Additive Manufacturing, Design Tech Systems Private Limited, and Mr. Swapnil Sansare, CEO and Founder, Divide by Zero Technologies. We welcome you all. We request all the attendees to ask questions only in the Q&A box, and for other queries, we have the chat box enabled. We would start our first presentation, and it's over to you, Mr. Nishant Shah.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Let me just share my screen real quick. Yeah, is it visible?
Yes, Mr. Shah, it's visible.
Okay, great. So, first of all, thank you, AES and Messe Frankfurt for hosting this webinar. I think in these very testing times, it's a great opportunity for everyone to learn. And this platform, obviously, with the help of technology, it's great to connect to everyone. So I'll quickly start my presentation. To give you a brief about Imaginarium, we have been a service provider of 3D printing and other ancillary services for over 15 years now. And one of our verticals, which is Imaginarium Rapid, also deals with automobile industries extensively, right from the OEMs to the tier 1 suppliers to part manufacturers. I'll give you a brief about Imaginarium later in the presentation, but I'll quickly jump on to um, what do we do for the automotive industry. So here are some of the kind of parts and applications that we currently work with within the automotive industries. Starts with visual models. Everyone needs a visual model. Everyone wants to look and feel and see how their next part or next car or next product is going to look like. So we do a lot of class A visual models for them. Then we come to functional parts where we actually manufacture parts where they check the fit, form, and function. It might be a critical part, it might be a non-critical part. Um, then there is also a huge scope for spare parts where there have been quite a few cases where a lot of companies who have their models which are almost redundant now, and it is a difficulty in getting those spare parts um, manufactured because they are maybe not in inventory or the designs have been lost somewhere. So we help them recreate and manufacture those spare parts. We also do a lot of changeover parts, jigs and fixtures, and obviously production parts as well, which is something which is quite interesting. So starting with uh, visual models, uh, it can be as simple as a small vision model like you see in this slide where someone wanted to have a tabletop vision model or a tire vision model or a full grown, full size model like this. So this is claimed to be India's first supercar by Vazirani. And most of the parts here that you see, including the headlamps, the black hood, the tires, the air vents, uh, even on the back, if you see all these wings, the logos, everything was actually 3D printed. And we helped them create this model in a very time sensitive uh, way where the challenge was that they wanted it in a few weeks because they had to present it in show in UK. Obviously, this is not a functional car as such, and there is no engine in it. But visually, the entire model was brought to life using 3D printing and a lot of other traditional technologies. So, right from the side mirrors, also, if you see, these are all 3D printed. So this just shows you the power that it's not limited to material or finishes. We can also do transparent parts. We can do opaque parts. We can do uh, completely painted class A uh, visual models. Coming to functional parts, uh, obviously, as you all know, some few years back or maybe a decade back, it used to take months for people to get the first part, actual part after they've designed it to actually test it for functionality, for fit, form, function. Um, Obviously, 3D printing has helped fast track this time and it has come down to hours, if not days. Some of the examples are like complete bumpers for automobile. So you can see over here, these are complete life-size bumpers which are fit on vehicles for the fitment tests and aesthetic tests. We have dashboards, door panels. So these are all really large live parts which are then retrofitted into an actual vehicle, which they call as a proto build. And the function, the fitment is checked, and also the aesthetic values are checked if everything looks and feels nice, and then they go into production. Also, here's another opportunity where we do a lot of display units. So again, using transparent materials for 3D printing with the help of some conventional technologies also, we are able to do display units for two-wheelers. So these, again, either they go into, it can go into some shows, it can go into actual vehicles for testing. And these are all functional parts. They are not just visual models. They are all pretty much functional parts. Air intake manifolds are something which we take pride in doing. We've been doing it for over 3 or 4 years. The challenge here with most of the air filter assembly and air intake manifold manufacturers was to get the real material. So they wanted it in PA6 glass filled. Um, Obviously, that's not completely available or was not available back 3 or 4 years back. So we partnered up with a company called Solvay, which is a materials manufacturer, and we actually together developed this PA6 glass filled material where we dedicatedly gave them one machine. We did multiple trials on it for over 6 or 7 months, and we were able to actually prove that we can print in polyamide 6 20% glass filled material. Now currently we are the only company which can actually print in this material exclusively, which comes from Solvay, and it is really helping a lot of uh, automobile tier one suppliers, because when they need to do certain leak tests and heat tests and all sorts of different testing, they now have a real material available with them for these kinds of tests. This is another very interesting project that we did. It's a air conditioning control unit where uh, there were a total of 45 parts. So you can see visually as well as functionally, it had to be completely intact and it had to be like a production part. Um, it took 3 days for us to make all these parts along with all the screen printing and laser etching. Um, so you can see there were transparent light guides over here. The button softness was very important. The chrome plating on that wheel was very important. All this accumulated into this finished product, which was then put on a test build for one of the automobile manufacturers, because their tools were still into production. Because of this, we also got to make the injection molding tools for this, which we also completed in 3 weeks. Another interesting application of 3D printing, where what we are working with is printing patterns for direct investment or sand casting. So if you see on the upper left corner, that's a 3D printed part in PA12, and this is actually being used directly as a pattern for casting parts in aluminium or steel. So we work with a lot of foundries who are working with tier one suppliers, OEMs, where casting parts, again, the masters used to take quite a weeks, maybe a couple of weeks to get the masters done and then casted. But now with the help of 3D printing in PA12, we can easily burn out this material. We've conducted several tests and it's been proven. So this is a great application that we see, and a lot of the foundries have been starting to use this. Here is another example of a completely functional and aesthetic part where we did a complete headlamp assembly. So right from the housings to the reflectors, to the bezels, to the complete headlamp front as well, which is 100% transparent. These all used 3D printing to get this complete assembly made. Now these parts are quite large, and we have got a machine which is large enough to accommodate such parts. So, and we run transparent material on it. The deflector that you see was actually printed in metal, in aluminium, and then was machine polished and chrome plated. Another application that we see are customized products. What we believe is in the coming era, it's going to be mass customization over mass manufacturing. So a lot of companies like Royal Enfield, which you see over here, we've done some parts for Bentley, where the annual volumes are much lower than your normal cars, and they don't sell as many vehicles because it's exclusive in some way. They wanted to be they want to add some more value when a customer is buying their vehicle. So they want to customize each and every vehicle to each customer that is buying it. And that's where we can help out with the use of 3D printing. So we are customizing, for example, for Bentley, we did customize uh, keys. So all the keys which were given out to the owners were actually customized with their name engraved in it or whatever logo if they wanted, and some other interior parts as well. I can't share those pictures because they are confidential, but I'm allowed to at least speak about it. Uh, Coming to spare parts, this is one area which I think has a great potential. As I spoke earlier, we all know that there are many cars, antiques, really old cars where getting the spare part is a big challenge. Either the car manufacturer themselves have run out of business, or they've stopped that particular model, or there is no service center available in a particular country where that car is. So having using the power of 3D printing, what we are doing is we are actually uh, speaking to anyone who requires spare parts urgently. We go, we look at the part, we redesign it, and we hold a digital inventory for it. And then it's as easy as just printing the part in a day and giving it to the customer who requires it. So here's an example of how Jay Leno has actually started a company which does complete spare parts. And he's an avid car collector, and he also found that there is a need of spare parts, and he started a company just doing that. Jigs and fixtures is another area where we are helping 3D printing. 3D printing is helping the automotive industry. So, as you know, for a lot of sheet metal uh, components, jigs and fixtures are mandatory and required. Currently, they are using metal parts, casted parts, which are traditionally made. But obviously, they come in a particular fit form. With obviously the power of 3D printing, we can customize it to each part so that they don't lose out on the critical areas where inspection needs to be done. Another area is weight reduction and optimization. So if you see on the left, this was a classic part where it was quite heavy, and it was for commercial big vehicle, and they wanted it to lightweight it and design it in such a way that it doesn't lose its strength and ability. So we redesigned the part and actually made it lightweight and designed it for 3D printing. So they managed to reduce the weight by almost 65% here. Here is a great example of how a company called Divergent actually built the world's first ever supercar completely using 3D printed parts. Um, because they did not have to invest in any mold cost or tooling costs, they actually managed to reduce the cost by almost 1/50th the capital cost which was required. So it's a great example of how companies across the world are actually accepting 3D printing, using 3D printing, and trying to find different applications which might help the automotive industries. Speaking of metal 3D printing, another area is conformal cooling channels for injection molding. So conformal cooling channels actually help reduce your cycle times or get cooling at areas where it was impossible to reach before, and because of that there were some aesthetic issues in the part, or there was shrinkages or all sorts of issues. So with this you can actually make conformal cooling channels which are quite complex and otherwise not possible. This is a great example of how we are using 3D printing for end use applications or production parts. So one of our OEM customers came to us and said, we have an issue and we need a bevel gear for for an air conditioning unit, and we've actually lost the tool. So their supplier had lost the injection molding tools for this, and they quickly required almost 1,000 of these because the vehicles were rolling out. So they said, how can we get them quickly in 2 to 3 days? So we did a quick test and asked them to do some testing on it. They did about their revolution test and whatever was to be done, and it actually got proven. So we printed 1,000 parts for them in 3 days and supplied to them, which were actually then fitted on a real vehicle. Um, Similar to this, there are hundreds of examples where we've actually used 3D printing for end use parts and production parts, and not just prototypes and visual models or jigs and fixtures. Again, because of confidentiality issues, I'm not able to share that with you currently on this platform, but I can tell you parts like there are some critical engine parts, there are some interior parts which we directly 3D print and which goes onto the vehicle. There are some side mirror assemblies that are being done like that. We also tested a gear assembly for one of the OEMs where again we use polyamide 6. So a complete gearbox was printed and tested and put on a vehicle.
Mr. Shah, last 1 minute, please.
Yeah, I'm on the last slide. So, in a nutshell, I think today nobody wants to hold unnecessary inventory, unsustainable materials and technologies. No one wants long lead times. No one wants non-validated designs for production. So, how Imaginarium is helping in this endeavor is we offer quick turnkey prototyping for faster turnaround. Obviously, digital fabrication helps with distributed production instead, especially with China not being favored right now. On-demand production where Imaginarium can take care of proto to tooling to molding to everything. Metal printing for end products, and of course spare parts. So all of the above put together will help auto players to go to market faster with newer products. Just quickly about Imaginarium, we as a group have 6 different verticals. Precious is our vertical, which is completely focused on accessories and jewelry and on-demand manufacturing for that, where we use 3D printing and then directly cast in gold, brass, bronze. Life is our arm where we are working with doctors, medical staff, hospitals, and we do anatomical models, surgical guides, customized implants. Rapid is our engineering arm where we offer 3D printing services to industries like automobile and FMCG consumer goods. But also along with that, we do CNC machine parts, injection molding, sheet metal, vacuum casting. And then we've got Academy, as the name suggests, we do training courses. We've got ventures where we invest in companies, and we've got solutions where we represent a lot of companies like HP and Oerlikon, Rapid Shape, and we sell their printers, hardware, and software. We have about 22 printers. We impact 50 industries. We are about 280 people strong. We are manufacturing 2,700 parts every day, and we've got 5,000 happy customers. What we believe is if you can think it, we can make it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shah. We have a couple of questions. I'll just read out. The first question is from Mr. Pervez T.
Yeah.
What is the minimum tolerance that you can maintain for jigs made with 3D printing technology?
Sure. Hi, Parvesh. Thanks for the question. So under 3D printing, there are different technologies from, right, like SLA, SLS, FDM, DMLS. So each technology comes with their own tolerances. We print as low as 30 microns, and we go high as 300 microns. So depending on what is the requirement of the customer, what is the materials which are required, we can optimize the build with those parameters and get those tolerances.
Okay. Second question is from Mr. Dinesh Varan. Is 3D printing only for prototyping or mass manufacturing as well?
So Dinesh, it's a great question. As I showed in my presentation, I think 3D printing was only for prototyping, but it is also being used for mass manufacturing today, especially metal 3D printing and even plastic 3D printing technologies like MJF, SLS. Uh, these technologies, like HP's machine, they are built for production. They actually claim that this is not a prototyping machine. This is for production parts, and it is definitely being used for mass manufacturing today.
Next question is from Mr. Abradeep Das. What is the current market as a manufacturing tool in 3D printing parts in India?
Okay, can you repeat what is the current market
as a manufacturing tool?
Okay.
In 3D printing parts in India.
Okay, I didn't quite get the question, but
okay, no issues. I'll go to the next one. Can you explain the advantages of using PA6 for sand casting or investment casting processes?
So we don't use PA6 for sand casting or investment casting. We use PA12 because it easily burns out, and we specifically use it through 3D printing because 3D printing in PA12 of the parts has porosity, so it burns out quickly.
Okay, I'll take last question. What are the materials? What are the materials that can be able to used in metal 3D printing? It's from Mr. Mahesh.
Hi Mahesh. So in metal 3D printing, you can use right from alloys of aluminium. You can use stainless steel. So you've got SS316L. You've got maraging steel. You've got nickel alloys. You've got titanium. You've got even precious metals like gold, silver can be printed. So there's a huge opportunity to print in a lot of different alloys. The machine manufacturers are optimizing their machines every day, and material manufacturers are coming out with new materials every day.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Shah. Thank you very much for the presentation.
Pleasure.
And we move ahead. We now invite Mr. Ganesh Babu for his presentation.
Well, good morning, everyone. Am I audible to all of you all?
Yeah, yes, you are audible.
Wonderful. Now, I thank AES for this opportunity. And by the way, I have to begin and be a little quick because we are running short of time. Well, I'm Ganesh Babu, handling application engineering for Design Tech Systems. I've been a part of Stratasys, the OEM that manufactures 3D printers. Well, today the focus here is to talk about how additive manufacturing from Stratasys Technologies supports or redefines when we talk about automotive effectiveness in terms of cost, productivity, or even efficiency. Now, that's exactly what the subject what we're going to look at. But well before that, on the corporate profile of Design Tech Systems, headquartered in Pune and spread across the country, 9+ offices, as well as offices in Asia and America, etc. Now we are the VARs for CAD/CAM PLM solutions. Well, we also have a strong engineering services team, and we also impart CAD training, CAD CAE training from our Design Tech CAD Academy. Well, the various products apart from what have been listed here are also materialized. Bentley products are also there, along with PTC, Altair, and other solutions. But the focus today is going to be on additive manufacturing from Stratasys. On the right, what you get to see Stratasys and SolidScape. We are the partners for selling these equipments. So for all given verticals, starting from automotive, you can name it, including education, aerospace and defense, 3D printing, as well as our engineering service team have been complementing the demands in the market. So the markets that we operate beyond India, as I mentioned, apart from the offices, what in India, what we get to see from Design Tech, we operate in markets like North America, Europe, and Asia Pacific as well. Well, with 22+ years in the industry, we are very strong when it comes to our technical employee strength, and more importantly, like we are among the top 3 in CAD/CAM, CAE, and PLM solutions. So, well, moving on. Let us now get to understand who Stratasys is. Stratasys, the 3D printing solutions company, is the one who had invented the patented technology called as FDM. They are into the 32nd year after introducing the technology. Well, FDM and PolyJet are two core technologies that Stratasys offers. So in this snapshot, in this slide, what you get to see is Stratasys technologies have influenced every given vertical, whether it is automotive, medical, aerospace, imparting education, you can name it. So the two core complementing technologies in focus today, while you look at Stratasys, one is FDM, which is fused deposition modeling, and the other is material jetting technology, which is called as PolyJet. I have a video that talks about Stratasys technologies. Maybe it covers various verticals in this automotive video, which is very, very exclusive to the automotive world, which I would like to present. But well before that, these two distinct technologies are so very complementing to each other, because with the inkjet technology, we are working with liquid resins as a raw material. Well, very fine feature details are captured, multi-material outputs, end product realisms, you can name it. What you have as a final product today in colors, clear parts, opaque parts, details of the company, details of every given product, details which have been etched on the packaging, all that can be realized by a single push of a button. That's today's PolyJet for you. But whereas when you look at FDM, it's more versatile. Reason being, we are working with thermoplastics, industrial grade of thermoplastics here. The filaments being extruded on a build platform are very wide in nature. You have got multiple grades of ABS, ASAs, nylons, carbon fiber filled nylons. You have Ultem, you have PEC, polyether ketone from Stratasys. So quite a lot. However, when we talk about the complementing technologies, each have their unique applications, which I'm going to talk about in terms about what these materials from both the technologies that represent to the automotive world and how manufacturing is influenced by Stratasys technologies. Well, before that, as I mentioned, 32nd year in the industry, Stratasys patented technology. As a public traded company on NASDAQ, Stratasys has dual headquarters. The FDM technology, which originated from Eden Prairie of Minnesota, USA, and the PolyJet technology is from Object Technologies, after having to merge with Stratasys, is from Rehovot of Israel. Well, multiple patents. There are pending patents for Stratasys, and these are industrial grade 3D printers, what you get to see from Stratasys. Well, while talking about automotive, all that one was dependent in the earlier days where maybe the sizes were not too very customizable. They were standardized, and more importantly, like that could fit anyone's needs. But today it has changed. The specialized solutions that today the auto industry offers is due to the demand and for business critical applications, for which there has been fashion. What you get to see exteriors have changed over the years. Today, when you look at the interiors and the exteriors of automotive, there's a wide influence. Without 3D printing, probably these newer designs would not have rolled out in such quicker timelines. That's exactly what we are going to focus on. All the majors in the auto industry, whether you talk about Audi, BMW, all of them users of Stratasys technologies, including Honda, and quite large, big names in the Indian industry, in the auto world, are users of Stratasys technologies. So here, when we talk about the interior components, these are all some of the outputs, reason being that with the multi-material PolyJet technology, you'll have the consoles printed as a final product with fine details. That's exactly what you capture. The multi-material 3D printing talks about how auto industries have the benefit of, rather than getting into quite an extended post-processing to complete their final product designs, today I have solutions from Stratasys, which means that multi-material outputs as end products can be realized in quick turnaround time. Well, I have a video for you all from Stratasys that talks about how to achieve all these different details. There you get to see quite a lot of pop-ups which are coming up, whether it's going to be the dashboard, or while we look at the multi-material steering wheels, the soft touch over-molded along with the rigid and the details of the company logos all etched in a single print. Or when you look at printing resin-based core and cavity to get your end desired plastic outputs, all that on a single machine. That's what Stratasys technology is all about. So Stratasys innovation for the digital factory is the focus in today's discussion for the auto industry. And that's where we are going to lead the way today. And this is a video which speaks about Stratasys.
Over the past quarter century, the automotive industry has seen remarkable advancements in manufacturing and technology. Helping shape that change has been Stratasys. Since our inception, we've been at the forefront of unleashing the imagination of designers and manufacturers, bringing their ideas to life with speed and efficiency. Stratasys prototyping capabilities have sheared months and even years off the development process, reducing investment and part costs dramatically. Automakers and suppliers of all types have realized the benefits of Stratasys 3D printing, and we've seen our technology go from the design studio to the factory floor with the adoption of custom 3D printed tools, jigs and fixtures, tryout parts, and low-volume injection molding. We are reducing manufacturing costs and maximizing assembly line productivity. Stratasys can be found on the line of some of the world's premier automakers, helping them speed manufacturing time and reduce the weight of production tools. Stratasys is shaping the way cars are being imagined, designed, and developed. Production parts can now be 3D printed in small volumes and even manufactured as part of the final vehicle. Lightweight end-use parts are reducing production costs and increasing fuel efficiency. And with next-generation materials and technologies, Stratasys is positioned to help shape the industry for years to come. Stratasys offers a wide range of 3D printing materials for demanding automotive requirements, from clear and rubber-like photopolymers for detailed scale lines to tough, high-performance thermoplastics for extreme real-world environments. We empower automotive manufacturers to stay one step ahead of industry challenges with cutting-edge engineering solutions and a range of additive manufacturing technologies for custom applications. Stratasys is shaping more than tomorrow's automobiles. We are helping shape the innovations, creativity, and manufacturing capabilities of those who drive the industry forward.
So that's been Stratasys for you. In the video, there's been quite a lot of coverage talking about the materials which are so well associated to provide you with tooling applications. Now, while we talk about tooling applications, we speak about thin skin tooling for composite layups, coordinated tool families, soluble cores. Assembly and automation tools are being printed out. Either you start from the most versatile ABS and ASA materials, or you can get into polycarbonates and beyond, which are the Ultem grades. Today you have metal that could be formed with 3D printed plastic. That is Stratasys technology. Thermoforming, metal castings, you can name it. So well, the focus now is on quite a lot of manufacturing tooling at auto industries. We have had quite a lot of success stories to talk to you all about, but also to mention, when we speak about manufacturing toolings, a wide variety of jigs and fixtures, which could optimize the manufacturing lines, is exactly what is in focus today. The demand is that traditional manufacturing takes time and it's too very expensive with multiple parts. However, the value add when you have 3D printing is adding to the complexity. You also have quite a lot of light weighting, which means cost-effective solutions, quick turnaround time. Maybe you can also think about having your workforce safety. That's exactly what jigs and fixtures offer for you. Cost savings, time savings, huge. And you also have the digital inventory without the physical inventory to support your manufacturing lines, thereby enabling that whenever there are components on demand, strong, durable materials that are associated with Stratasys technologies enable you to print parts that could be used as final production parts or end-use parts, thereby enabling that you have lighter tools for employee handling, which means worker comforts are well addressed. So the generic materials on the FDM portfolio that have been associated for having these durable jigs and fixtures, whether it's for the assembly or for the manufacturing lines or for CMM inspection. When we talk about fixtures for work holding devices on the CMM machines, there are quite a lot of value adds. The concept of designing for traditional, which means that you have multiple parts, is not what additive is looking forward to. You'll have design freedom with which you can be as creative as possible to design your fixtures. While we talk about some of the automotive case studies, there are quite a lot of them which speak about lightweighting of these fixtures. And all these happen in a matter of few hours, supporting manufacturing lines. So when we have the advantages that we talk about manufacturing tools that can be produced, here you have design or part consolidation, which is very unique to additive. You limit the part numbers in an assembly, and wherever there are cutting tools which have been employed on these tooling fixtures, you will be able to have those hardened jig bushings, thereby making hybrid fixtures that could suit your manufacturing requirements. So some of the materials that are associated with the manufacturing lines and for supporting the varied applications that are so very demanding is what we are going to take a look at. Primarily, while we talk about the most versatile material in the FDM portfolio of Stratasys is ABS M30. So here you have a case study from BMW. The metal fixtures have got replaced with lightweight 3D printed organic shaped fixtures. A new way of designing, completely changing the concept of traditional designs that have been made, and more creativity when you have to think about organic shapes in the designs. Worker comforts have been addressed. Think about those narrow handles and the organic shaped handles that we are providing today. That is creativity. And this fixture, it takes just 1.5 days instead of close to around 2.5 weeks of manufacturing using CNC. Huge cost savings on an A-class painted surface of a car. Here BMW talks about for every vehicle variant, there are multiple jigs and fixtures that have been 3D printed using Stratasys technologies primarily. So the major advantages and the results what they have been able to see with the Fortis production series machines are, there are sparse fill outputs, which means lightweighting, cost savings, direct cost saving because you're using lesser material, quicker turnaround time, and that's exactly for you. More complex geometries. So BMW has some of the samples here, emblem placement fixtures or under the hood assembly fixtures, which is the middle image, which is so very complex in nature for traditional manufacturing, has got hybrid components for quick fastening and so on. So these are tools that have been designed for functionality and without having to compromise on the ergonomics, or when we talk about the functionalities, there's no compromise. These are so well suited to meet multiple usage on the shop floor, thereby enhancing productivity. Ducati for this particular case study talks about using polycarbonate as a material. The entire engine has been printed using FDM Fortis production systems using polycarbonate. The coils, the other sub-assemblies of the engine has been completely assembled for an assembly check, all bolted and assembled together. The time to market on this new engine was so very critical. Traditionally, they would have spent 28 months, but with the complexity and the 3D printed outputs assembly, they were able to save 8 months, which had substantially saved quite a lot of savings, which means 29% of time savings. Other majors like the auto industries in India, these snapshots, what you get to see the images are all fixtures that have been rolled out from the FDM technology of Stratasys. Lightweighting, whether it's the trunk lid or the rear windshield fixtures. Earlier it has been too very complex carrying those metal fixtures or using the direct windshields for checking the gap. But today, lightweighting and customized designs have made way for auto majors to adapt to Stratasys technologies. That's exactly what you get to see here. And some of the other major advantages using PolyJet as a technology. Here we talk about working with multi-material, whether it is a cutting jig or when we talk about the work holding injection molded output on a soft touch over molded. You have the digital ABS green over molded with the black soft touch, which means a molded part could be cared for any scratches, any damages when the brass inserts get assembled. These are some of the fixtures where PolyJet associates for multi-material soft touch over molded outputs. And when it comes to worker safety, look about the creativity. Working with ABS M30 again, using Stratasys technologies, BMW Group have enforced strict worker safety, worker comfort. And when workers have to be scanned for their thumb impression, the overall thumb has been scanned and 3D printed with ABS. Now this flexible support enables that once when sheet metal, complex sheet metal components have been lifted and carried from for assemblies, etc., or when checking has been done, probably there are areas of hurt that the workers have to face. And these custom thumbs which have been printed enable quite a lot of safety, and it also provides and promotes productivity. Patents for sand casting. Primarily here we talk about using ABS as a material, ABS, scope and brags, and these have been tried and tested for very many decades. Multiple case studies in India which have been rolled out using Stratasys FDM materials, complex patents, lightweighting of metal parts, all are associated during the development cycle. Well before the complex tooling can be generated, these are so very handy to meet a few numbers of few thousands. So let us take a look at polycarbonate. Polycarbonate, again, high tensile strength material from FDM, is used for manufacturing tooling, like blow molding tools have been manufactured. Strong production parts and manufacturing tools have been generated using polycarbonate on the FDM technology. Polycarbonate materials for metal forming. Now this is exactly where you get to see that the complexity of CRCA, cold rolled, cold annealed sheets, have been formed on a hydraulic press. Thermoforming, various metal forming applications are all best suited with the polycarbonate material. Now when you look at nylon 12 in the FDM portfolio, well, for fatigue endurance, this is a very versatile material. It has very strong chemical resistance as well as high impact strength, which means tooling applications are best suited, again, with the choice of applications on the shop floor. Snap fits, functional fit inserts, all these are possibilities with nylon 12. Now the next grade of material is nylon 12 carbon fiber filled. This composite material gives enablement to have lightweight tooling. There is FDM materials when we talk about high strength, durability, lightweighting, production parts, end use parts. There, the tool that has been printed using nylon 12 CF can take the entire load of the bike. And some more nylon 12 CF outputs.
Last 1 minute, please.
So these are some of the various value adds where you will be having quite a lot of thin walls, thick walls, but more importantly, it is the soluble support material, which gives enablement to have complex geometries which have been tested well before the designs can be frozen. That's exactly how you're able to advance and keep moving forward. Now the polyether ketone, which I had mentioned about, is again a thermoplastic, which means that high chemical resistivity, highly strong and durable outputs for the aerospace and the automotive industry, which means low outgassing as a material with very high dimensional strength and stability, empowers automotive industry to have strong tooling that could be made using this particular material. Nylon, apart from the nylon and the Ultem grades now to talk about, now this is the FST certified, flame smoke toxicity certified, FAA approved material is nylon, the Ultem 9085, which comes in two different colors, aero industries as well as automotive industries, quite a lot of value add from metal fixturing to using Ultem grades of material, or even sheet metal thermoforming using Ultem grades. Now these have been case studies where in one day you can make a metal forming tool.
Mr. Ganesh?
And I have come to the end of session.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
just in the next 30 seconds, I'll be completing this. So thin skin tooling, carbon fiber tooling, you can name them. These are the great value adds that are supported, but needless to say that you also have the TPU material, thermoplastic urethane in the F-series machine. Now look at some of the value adds using Stratasys as a technology. 28 traditional components to 4 FDM parts, which means part consolidation. Plastics are so very strong. This is a portfolio of the FDM systems along with the various categories of materials that are available. And then our PolyJet systems are widely shared Office series as well as the J series, which are truly game changers. That's exactly what you get to see from BMW Mini. The side scuttles are printed and then mounted as unique outputs. So very quickly, various value adds of design freedom, lattice structures, complex filigree structures, you can name them. That is a unique advantage of working with 3D printing. You can reach out and contact us through social media as well. And more importantly, like I take this opportunity for thanking AES and the panelists around and all those joinees for giving us this opportunity to present to you all. Well,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you very much, sir. We'll take a couple of questions which are there. First question is from Mr. Sumit Kashyap.
Yes, Mr. Sumit.
What is the tolerance difference and surface quality between FDM and jetting?
Well, while we talk about PolyJet as a technology, like we can work as low as 14 microns on the layer thickness, which means very fine, high resolution outputs, or on an average, we work with 30 microns. So between 14 microns and 30 microns, either 14 or 30 microns is a great surface finish on the PolyJet. But with FDM, yes, we work with a minimum layer thickness of 0.127 of an mm, which is 127 microns. Now, the surface improvements can also be addressed through various techniques, like you can think about doing hand sanding, emery sanding, or you can have automated process like maybe vibratory finishes that could enhance your finish and then give a coating. So various secondary processes could also support to have good surface finish. But when it comes to PolyJet on the surface finish, it's quite very superior. But today in 3D printing, since it's a layered process, additive process, you will have to live with some of the limitations of doing certain post-processing, very, very minimal post-processing when it comes to achieve what surfaces that you desire and for what applications that they are required to be used.
Thank you, Mr. Ganesh. Since we are running short of time, we will email you the questions as there are many, and we will proceed with the next presentation.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ganesh. Thank you very much. So now I invite Mr. Swapnil Sansare for his presentation. Swapnil, please.
Yeah, hi. Mr. Ganesh, I would like...
Mr. Ganesh, can you just stop the screen sharing?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, I'll just share my screen. Am I audible? Is my screen...
Yes.
Can you see my screen?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. So I will not be able to, take questions immediately because I'm sharing my screen now. But so I think both my friends, Mr. Ganesh and Mr. Nishant, they have covered a lot of data already. So I don't think I have much to say here, but still I'll try my level best. I'm going to finish my presentation in hardly say 10 minutes, and I'm going to address a lot of questions now. I think that will be something interesting. And so here, my name is Swapnil Sansare. I'm CEO and founder of Divide by Zero Technologies. First of all, let me thank Messe Frankfurt and Automotive Engineering Show for inviting me to present here. So I think with current situation and scenario, with COVID-19, and we all are looking at where this industry is going, what's happening, and how 3D printing can redefine efficiency, cost effectiveness, and productivity for automotive industry was the topic today. But I think 3D printing industry has shown its capacity in this lockdown, and I have seen not only as machine manufacturer or provider, but as a person in community in 3D printing fraternity, I think I've seen a lot of 3D printing companies coming forward and supporting all the medical hospitals and organizations for making PPEs and ventilators and so on and so forth. So many products are being built, and I can see 3D printing solving supply chain issues right now, wherein we don't know which area is going to be under lockdown. So let me congratulate all of them and all of my friends and competitors here who have made this effort and made it possible to make sure these PPEs or medical equipment are being manufactured on 3D printing, on 3D printers and delivered. So we are a company, I started this company in 2013, and we are now 700 plus installations across India. And now, yes, there is, we have 2 more countries to reach now. We have our presence in Dubai and Malaysia with our channel partner network. Beyond that, yes, our machines and products have 12 excellence awards, 2 technology patents. We make these machines completely in India. And again, our aim and the vision is we help companies to increase your profitability through value engineering and advanced manufacturing solutions. By that, I mean, it's our vision to empower companies with advanced manufacturing wherever it can be applied to increase their bottom lines. So in terms of 3D printing, when we asked, in terms of the heading that we have, the topic that we have today, what is the, how 3D printing can help increase profitability and efficiency. I think typically 3D printing can help in these areas for automotive industry, which is right from prototyping to tooling to quality control and packaging part of it. And packaging, by that I mean handling and material handling and so on and so forth. So we all know about prototyping part of it, being used for on 3D printing machines. So this is one of the examples that I'm sharing. Again, this is a intake manifold, very simplified one, but these kind of parts or any such parts can be quickly made onto a 3D printer, tested, form fit function as what we call it, and delivered to end users or customers, or sometimes tested directly as well. I think I saw one question here that can we compare the strength of the 3D printed part versus the actual metal or polymer part. I think metal, I'm not an expert on metal 3D printing, but let me talk about polymer. I think I would say no. When you say you need a part in a particular material, per se ABS or PP or PC, so your intended material strength and your 3D printed material strength is going to be different if you use the same material. So you need to have a better material, better quality material, as well as you need to have better processes to ensure your component strength is similar when you deliver a 3D printed part. So that's why you see there is a lot of differentiation in terms of a 3D printing raw material, filaments or powders, the cost of it when you compare it with a typical polymer cost in the market. So this is again one more advantage here. Another thing is with prototyping, yes, CNC machining is as well very well used. But with CNC machining, I think it's that's a subtractive technology. It is of advantage when you have mass manufacturing, and 3D printing can obviously beat CNC machining when it comes to mass customization. So when you talk about this, in fact, this is a very interesting topic, maybe which usually I discuss with all our customers, wherein you have every part is different. Your CNC machine will take a lot of time. It needs specific tooling. It needs specific fixturing so that it can do undercuts and various different angles together. But on a 3D printer, you can actually do a complex part like this, what you're seeing on my screen, in one shot without even changing the tool. Another thing is here, you don't need a specific preform or maybe a component from which you will be cutting this whole thing out. Rather you just need a single type of raw material. So I think 3D printing is, when you look at this technology, it is I would say not dependent on supply chain as much as a CNC machining or any other technology is when it comes to subtractive, and that's the advantage here on the prototyping part of it. Next, I would come down to fixtures. This is something that we have done for one of our customers. These are the fixture assembly lines. Actually, these are being tested now. But these fixtures these fixtures basically are 3D printed. So some part of them are metallic, and the required geometries are 3D printed. Normally, these fixtures would take something around 30 days to manufacture. And you can see the cost comparison and timeline comparison on this. And these fixtures can be now 3D printed and delivered, in 7 to 10 days of time, wherein it is taking on conventional manufacturing, it is taking 30 days. Yes, obviously, CNC machines are way too fast if you compare, on a production level. But when you have a complete process set and you are making repetitive components, it is much faster. But when you are in terms of a component like fixture, when your every component is different and the shape is different, you need a fixture, you need a separate tool, you need a separate code every time to be worked upon with CNC machining. But when it comes to 3D printing, it can be much, much faster because on a 3D printer bed, we can actually put up all these fixtures together and they will be printed in one go without any problem, without tool change requirement, without any requirement change in the raw material size or function of it. And again, the coding part of it is much easier. Another thing over here is when you talk about materials, yes, I can come down on that side. Material side, there are various materials available. These fixtures can be made from different materials like polyurethane, nylons, polycarbonates, PVT materials with our machines, with 3D printers. And as per your application, you can actually have soft and hard surfaces, which can be decided. So tooling and fixture is an amazing application for automotive industry. Another big advantage here is that you don't need to actually have an inventory of these components altogether with you. All you need to have is a digital inventory of these designs. And whenever, if you have to recalibrate any fixture or change any parameter or add any particular component to it, so you can just go back to your design library, fire the print on the machine, print it, and install it in a day's time. So your downtime is also reduced. So I think this is what is required in current time, in current situation, because you don't want to be dependent on the supply chain to be able to resume your work on the manufacturing line. So these are basically assembly fixtures. Again, investment casting and sand casting, definitely, both my friends have already discussed a lot about it. But in terms of investment casting and sand casting, we have also worked and developed now a specific material which has a very, very low ash content, close to 0.7% on the deposition technology side. And also we are working, and we have developed India's first laser sintering SLS powder-based, polymer-based SLS machine now. On that as well, we have developed this material, and which can actually be used in investment casting when you need some components to be printed quickly and directly. Those can be investment casted in the standard processes. Packaging and handling solutions, yes. I think vacuum forming already, I think it's been done, but then it's a very, very interesting case study here. That on the packaging side of it, the nature of 3D printing, the way it is being built, it is inspired by nature. The way your honeycomb structure is being made, or inside the 3D print itself, or the infills, what we call it, those can be made open or closed. Those can be made variable, and through which we can actually make pulp packaging or vacuum forming tools using these machines. And these tools can be made overnight. So that if any automotive company decides to come up with a new product, and I can see in this industry time currently, a lot of companies are looking at developing new products, pivoting from their existing customer segments to another, wherein they can use the same expertise, same infrastructure to make more products which they can. So we can see companies like Mahindra making ventilators, companies like Ford or other companies trying to make UV disinfection robots, and so on and so forth. So when this is happening, they will definitely need these kind of solutions, packaging, and material handling is a bigger problem in sheet metal or even machining industry, especially when you have a coated component or colored component. So that is as well, that can be solved with, again, vacuum forming of polyurethane sheets with a 3D printed mold on it. And usually for material handling, you need lesser number of parts on the run. So these can be easily made. In fact, these kind of tools can deliver up to for a few hundred to sometimes a few thousand parts also, but that depends on the material and the type of design. Yes, quick inspection fixtures. These are on the assembly line. To be able to make these kind of fixtures, all you need is design, and there are certain tools available online, and we have collaborated as well with some of the software companies. If anybody is interested in this, you can get in touch with me. We can come back to you on this. But on the tooling side of it, inspection fixture, quick inspection fixtures, go no go gauges, a lot of these kind of tooling can be made on the 3D printer right away in your premises and directly used on the assembly line. And as I said, it's a process wherein you have a digital inventory. So whenever you have a part failure or you think that you need a design change, it's as easy as printing something and getting it on your desk next day. So with this, I think these are the areas which I see will be very, very helpful for automotive industries, overall. And in terms of saving your cost, time, and all the efforts right now, and looking at current situations, which I could compile down in a very brief time. Another interesting side of this is traditional versus additive manufacturing supply chain. So if you look at a traditional supply chain, traditional manufacturing, you have metal resource providers, then you have a manufacturing facility, then you assemble these parts, and distribution is happening. With additive manufacturing, there is a possibility wherein you can as well, with a lot of new technologies coming in, as well manufacture using 3D printers. So basically, all you have is a database of design, and it can be fired through different printers through Industry 4.0. We have IoT-enabled machines which can actually store these kind of designs on the design libraries, and directly can be fired through any locations with given accesses, and can be delivered. So this is a very, very interesting I think concept here which I wanted to discuss. And then I wanted to show you a quick video about Divide by Zero and what we do here, and this is about our journey. So let me just show it to you quickly. Yeah. Yeah, so I think I would like to take any questions if you have here quickly.
Thank you, Swapnil. We have a couple of questions for you. First is, how can we compare strength of 3D printed part against conventional casting products, metals and plastics both? Mr. Dharmesh Panchal.
Yeah, I think I answered this for polymers. And when you talk about casting, I think because even if you use 3D printed parts as patterns, so there is not going to be any difference on the strength, because as it is, you're not directly using 3D printed parts. It's indirect use. On the metal side, I don't see there will be a lot of challenge. But on the polymer side, yes, there is going to be the difference based on your geometry, part of the size of the part, and the metal that you use. But typically it's, according to my knowledge, it's typically when you compare with 3D printing and, molded component, there is going to be 20 to 30% difference.
Okay. Yeah. Second question is, can 3D printing be on par with traditional methods in large scale production anytime soon? Mr. Neil Hariharan has asked this question.
Okay, very, very interesting question. So I think 3D printing and large scale manufacturing, I don't see it's going hand in hand immediately. But yes, when you say large scale manufacturing with mass customization, so if your every component is different, and you are developing something which is personalized, which is as I said, fixtures, as as when you look at fixtures, you don't make a lot of them on assembly line, but every component is different. So when you have mass customization, it can definitely take up the game. But as of now, we don't see immediately 3D printing taking up on mass manufacturing.
Okay. Next question is, what materials are being used to make 3D printing manifold? Can it be used as an actual working part?
So yes, you can use high temperature materials, materials like Ultim and such grade high temperature resistant materials can be directly used to make manifolds, and they can be directly used in the vehicle and tested.
Okay. Next question is, those 3D printed dashboards are entirely a single piece component, or you assemble it, Mr. Venkatesan?
Can you just come again on that question?
3D printed dashboards are entirely a single piece component, or you assemble it?
So definitely, dashboards are much larger in size. So you have to have a larger build size printer, wherein you can print it in one shot, or else these are assembled. Mostly these are assembled with made in a way, in such a way that your geometry and your joints, even if you make it, it does not deform much beyond a tolerance. So it's made in that way.
Okay. Thank you very much, Swapnil. As since we are running short of time, we'll email you all the remaining questions, and you can connect with the attendees directly. And thank you all the panelists for this insightful presentation, and have a safe lockdown for everyone.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.